How strong do you think is the strongest man on Earth? Well, not really strong enough when it comes to animals, specifically gorillas and orangutans. These gentle giants are in the same part of the evolution tree as us humans, the homogenous family. What would happen if one of each of these animals went up against the other? Well, honestly, that's far from happening as they both live in different parts of the world. But let's compare these two animals and see for ourselves who might be the victor. Welcome to Animals Wow TV. Let's get started. The orangutans are perfectly built when it comes to swinging on the trees. I mean, look at those arms. They are longer than their own bodies. And don't think that they're flimsy. These arms are filled with muscles that are strong enough to hold their massive bodies as they swing around. And these guys seem to be having the time of their lives, don't they? These orangutans spend as much time in the trees as they do on the floors of these jungles. Gorillas, on the other hand, are not that tree-loving as the orangutans. Sure, this guy is going up one as I say that, but look at his speed and momentum. These guys are just as useless as I am when someone gives me responsibility. On the jungle floor, however, these guys are like locomotives, not to be reckoned with. Our friend here was only going to the top of that tree so he could get his hands on some nice juicy fruit. His weight even bent the tree to a significant margin. Come on, guy, don't throw your weight around like that, you'll ruin nature. Isn't that a fatty? This guy is standing up like an average dad looking at the news when a hot story's on. Orangutans, let's face it, are not really muscular, to say the least. These guys are blobs of fat and are genuinely very calm when it comes to interactions at all. They prefer to mind their own business and don't like moving around so much. Sure, they're strong in their own right, but then again, there's a lot of difference between muscle and fat, isn't there? On the other side of the spectrum, gorillas are straight up jacked, man. Have you ever watched Popeye the Sailor? Do you remember his arms? Every gorilla has the same type of muscular arms as Popeye, and they pack a huge amount of power within them. Look at this guy. He's not even fully grown, and he looks more jacked than most of the guys from the gym that I go to. These guys are not to be messed with, trust me. They can throw you like a rag doll if they want to, no matter how buff you are. Now, comparing them with us puny humans, there's clearly a large difference. Apart from the strength and muscle mass, their sheer size alone is very intimidating if you ask me. Now this fella here is sitting level with the person holding the camera, and the difference can be pretty noticeable, don't you think? I mean, look at that face alone. That has got to be equal to 2 times my own face. These guys are not very tall, but they are wide and have thick bodies. The only reason they're not as tall is that they have short legs. And those legs are also extremely muscular. This gorilla is approaching these tourists and gives us a great perception of just how big these gorillas can be. They are bigger than both us humans and orangutans and pack just as much aggression in them as their size. Looks like these tourists are about to get a whole can opened up on them. Also, the thing with gorillas is that if they approach you, no matter how big they are, you just stay still and they won't hurt you. Weird, isn't it? Well, like the saying goes, kill them with kindness, I guess.
What the hell are you looking at? You want beef? I didn't think so, you bum.
This guy sure loves flaunting his muscles, doesn't he? Here you can take a closer look and a better view of the build of these gorillas. This guy is freaking ripped. I'm so jealous. I need to start drinking my creatine and hitting these weights harder. Notice how the arms are so big. I wasn't kidding when I said the Popeye thing, everyone. Every muscle of the gorilla's body is genetically primed up, and it is said that a single male alpha gorilla is stronger than 20 average humans combined. Truly the Hulk of nature. Although this fella looks like your average friendly fat friend from high school, these guys are no slouches either. Probably not as strong as the gorilla, but these guys too can lift up to 500 pounds, or 240 kilograms for all you metric system nerds, of weight effortlessly without breaking a sweat. So, if you were ever thinking about giving a fat, round orangutan a hug, please reconsider, because it is going to hug the poop out of you, literally. What do you think would happen if humans went up against a gorilla? Well, here's a tiny example. This gorilla walks up to a park ranger, and just look at what he does with him. My God, this must be so horrifying for him. He just dragged him like a twig, and the poor guy couldn't do anything about it. If I were in his place, I would have simply passed away due to horror. Luckily, the ranger knew what to do and didn't panic. We would clearly not have a single chance in hell while going one-on-one with one of these animals. But what if it comes down to orangutans? Well, these guys are much more humble and friendly. They come as close to holding your hands or just putting their hands on you in general. The same exact thing happened in this video as these tourists got themselves a friend. That friend, however, was a little too attached and had to be gotten rid of instead. Although, when these guys do end up fighting with their own brethren, things start to get a little rough. Watch as these gorillas quarrel over something, and man, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near these two. Those punches can go anywhere, and if they were to land on me or any unfortunate person, well, that's it for us, man. Game over. Man, these guys sure don't hold back now, do they? Those people should be glad that there's a thick glass between them and the animals. I can only imagine what would happen if the glass broke somehow. These orangutans are slightly different when it comes to quarrels between them. And unlike the gorillas that like to punch, throw kicks, and push, these orangutans are a little more pulled towards the wrestling side of things. The bigger one is sure showing the smaller one who's boss, isn't he? It almost looks like they're play fighting rather than actually fighting. It's pretty cute. The diets these gorillas have are completely that of innocence. Unlike the animals themselves, I mean. They consist of mostly plant-based materials such as bamboos, fruits, stems, and sometimes ants and small insects that unfortunately cross their paths. So basically, they are not completely herbivores, but rather omnivores as well. Guessing from their temper, however, it wouldn't be a surprise to me if one of them decides to taste human meat one day. Just like their silverback cousins, orangutans also prefer fruits and other plant-based edibles. Look at this guy. Reminds me of my fat uncle who gets tired of eating too much, but still continues to eat anyway because, well, food. He sure is having the time of his life, isn't he? My question is, how can you become so fat after eating just plants and fruits? Weren't they good for reducing weight? I might have a mystery here, everyone. All in all, these animals are nothing but peace-loving creatures in general, and it would be a good thing if we gave it to them. These gentle giants are one of the marvels of nature, and we should definitely care for them no matter what they do, because in the end, we humans are stronger than them in general, and we must preserve their homes. Alright, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Do smash that like button if this video was to your liking. Comment down below which one of these is your favorite. Subscribe to our channel if this is the sort of video that you like to watch, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.